Relax your knees, relax your legs, and make some small, gentle wrist circles. Open your palms, get the fascia through your hands, your forearms to start getting mobilized. In the next few minutes, we're going to explore how you can shift the pain that you're experiencing. Now, that's a big topic. I'm not teaching you here anything. Uh, what we're going to look at is you've got a pain, you've got a problem. It's in your body, it's in your emotions, it's in your experience. On a scale of 10, how strong is that pain? And you get some intuitive answer. This is a good place to just know where you're starting, right? Now, for years, I had, despite having been a personal trainer, switch directions of your hand. Despite being a personal trainer and a yoga teacher and teacher of yoga trainings, and I taught anatomy and I moved all the time, I had a period of about 5 years where nothing I was doing was working, and I was just my body was breaking down. I was spasming a lot in my back and my neck. Take your elbows, draw circles with your elbows, just small circles. Nothing big, no crunchiness in your shoulders, just movement. And at that time, I finally started learning some different things because what I was doing and how I was doing it wasn't working. But more important than that, switch directions, was how I was relating to myself and life when those incidences would happen and it would last for days or hours or weeks. So you could have any pain you have. Like I'm not going to be an expert in your particular pain, but how you relate to yourself in life and your path and what you're doing and how you're doing it, that we can change now. And that's something I wish I had a lot back then because that would have saved me a lot of suffering. Take your arms out, move, like reach one hand and reach the other hand. Really small, nothing that causes pain. Uh, if you have some pain with it, just again, make the movement as small as possible. What we're doing right now is just saying hello to your body and moving through your body, but getting more and more aware of being in your body and getting you more and more in touch with the pain emotionally, physically that you may be used to. And it's really easy to be used to pain. Okay. Now your hips. Just a simple shift from side to side. This one for me really wakes me up to the pain because it right now, lately, it's been in my left hip, left leg. And there's postural things, there's muscular things. So I'm working on that. But I don't want to be in shame. I don't want to be in guilt. I don't want to be upset through it all. I don't want to be pitying myself. I don't want to be collapsed mentally and emotionally. So, how do we deal with that? There's a number of different ways. Um, Mind body connection lets us do a number of different things. Now, roll your ankles, ankles, ankles. Here we go. Really, more simply. It's hard to it's hard to deal with our pain when we are in denial of our pain or avoiding our pain or used to our pain. So that's why we're doing simple movements that shouldn't wake up too much pain, but will highlight where there is pain if you're doing simple movements and there's still pain. Or suffering, guilt, shame, anger, self-pity, any other mindset that's something other than peaceful, neutral, open, curious, relaxed. Not that you have to be happy, but it's helpful to be more neutral, able to be observant, and then start to shift into curiosity. It's okay to have grief. Grief can actually connect us to what's real. But when we have grief or some suffering that's just this complex web of crap, that's really difficult then to take helpful, self caring decisions. So, like I said, there are quite a number of things you can do. Relax your body, relax your arms. And what we're going to do is something that I trust the most when it comes to getting our body to process, to integrate an emotion that's making us suffer and what that's connected to and how our body learned it. And this comes from integral eye movement techniques. You can look that up, find a practitioner, work with me, but we're going to do a very, very simple process right now. So body's relaxed. You've been experiencing what you've been experiencing. So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, and I'm gonna ask you to move your eyes. Very simple. You can move your eyes in a diagonal pattern a few times, 3, 5 times. Then an opposite diagonal pattern a few times, and then horizontally a few times. Now that covers the most simple version you can do of this. I do this multiple times through the day because I'm continually feeling emotions that have no bearing and no help, that are just reactions from my past and how my body learned to process people and fear and authority and those kind of things. Right now, we're addressing our pain and how we are being with our pain. So while there are more sophisticated, more nuanced ways of doing this, simple works. So you've been experiencing your body in the last few minutes, and I've been giving you a sort of putting you into a landscape of where you at with your emotions, your pain, and your suffering, and how you feel and how you relate. And hopefully stuff has been coming up for you. So what's been coming up for you around your pain? Everything that is on a scale of 10, 10 being very strong. How strong is that? And then how familiar is that feeling? When was the first time you can recall feeling that feeling? And it might not be the first time ever, but it's the first time you can recall right now. And how vivid is that? Focus on what you're thinking, focus on that memory, and move your eyes down to the left, up and to the right, and repeat. Change directions, down and to the right, up and to the left, and repeat. Go to the horizontal, left, right, and repeat. Relax. When you think of that memory, what happens? And when you focus on the feeling, what happens? Now, you may have been dealing with your pain for quite some time, and there could be some shame, some guilt, and some anger. So, we're going to pick one: shame, guilt, and anger. Which one resonates? Which one stands out to you? Like, that's familiar. For me, it used to be shame. This moment, it's more guilt. And we're always cycling between shame, guilt, and anger. Well, not always, but often. And if we just look, there's usually one of them. Not because anything's really wrong with us, but because of habits of our emotions. And we learn to deal with certain things, and we're using that coping mechanism right now with our pain that might be stopping your journey with resolving the pain, or at least learning how to deal with it, how to cope, how to manage it, and all sorts of other things you'd be learning and practicing. So, shame, guilt, anger, how strong is that? On a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is that? When you think about your pain, shame, guilt, anger, how strong is that? How familiar is that? When was the first time you can recall feeling that? It might not be the first time ever, but it's the first time right now you can recall. And how vivid is that memory? Like, hold that in mind, move your eyes down and to the left, up and to the right, and repeat. Down and to the right, up and to the left, then repeat. To the left and then the right, horizontally, and then repeat. Keep that memory in mind. Now relax. When you think about that memory, what's it like now? And when you think about that feeling. You feel it. What's that like now? And as you move your body around, what's it like being you now? And when you look for that pain, what's that like now? You could have had any kind of experience, an increase, a decrease, something comes up that you now want to think about or consider. But it usually, for most people, it's change, and your experience of it has changed. My experience in my body has definitely changed. So I wish you well with this. You can continue using this on pain, on guilt, on emotions, and I do recommend find out more about it. Integral eye movement techniques. Look it up online. Find a practitioner. Find a class. Very, very useful, and I am available for sessions as well. Very custom, very personalized.